Hi. So, if we give up the need to fight back when people insult us, this gives us an incredible freedom. Um, a lot of us want freedom. We don't want rules because we think the rules get in the way of the freedom. But this kind of rule, like all the rules, all the right rules, gives us an amazing freedom. And the amazing freedom is that if we decide to let people insult us without fighting back, that gives us an incredible sense of relaxation. Um, when people insult us, if we feel the need to fight back, it's going to either escalate or they're going to avoid us. And either one of those is not preferable. Whereas if people insult us and we just take it, in general, they can love us for that. And I notice that when I'm able to do that, a lot of times the person comes back later and apologizes, and we can laugh about it. Or sometimes we can laugh about it as it's going on if they're just someone's acting ridiculous, and I just take it and I think to myself, that's their stuff, whatever. So Rabbi Nachman says the level we aim for is we don't fight back, and we don't even fight back in our heart, inside ourselves. So everyone's seen the kung fu movies where like some kung fu master gets the bad guys. They push him and they push him and they push him, and he takes it and he takes it and he takes it, and finally he opens up a can and beats the heck out of everyone. And that's something impressive too, that the protagonist in these movies would be able to take it for so long before losing his cool. But obviously the higher level is when it doesn't end in violence. And just about the only exception I can think of for this is if someone is going to abuse us verbally and then notice that we're not fighting back and then abuse us physically. So of course I don't want anyone to be physically abused. So with all these kind of rules and guidelines, we have to draw some kind of line. But there's an American Breslov teaching, sticks and stones can break my bones, but names can never hurt me. So think of how much peace we can have with our family, with our partners, with our boss, and on, if when they insult us, we just take it, absorb it. I've trained in martial arts a lot of my life, and the higher levels of martial arts, in my mind, it's the ones where we absorb the attack without hurting the person. It's called neutralizing the attack, and there's a chapter in Sefer Midot that's all about. It's called contention. And personally, whenever I have something that really gets under my skin that I want to fight back about, I try to read that chapter. And it's got all sorts of wonderful things about loving the people that are abusing you, and so on and so forth. A lot of these modern movements seem to be like the PC thing in college, and these movements seem to be about trying to kind of one-up everyone and stop people from insulting you. And there might be some benefit in these movements, but in general, it doesn't smell right to me. I went to Oberlin College, the first college in America to admit blacks or women, or the second to admit women or blacks, or whatever, something very progressive college. And it was very extreme in this regard about like policing everyone for politically correct language. And vigilance in speech is a great thing, but I think it's better for us to police our own speech to make sure everything we say is necessary and helpful and kind. And we can just relax and let other people make mistakes on us. So to receive insult without answering back, whenever I think of this teaching, I feel so relaxed, because I realize that a lot of it's like kind of a great pressure to have to one up people. And there's a peacemaker in Israel named Eliyahu McLean that everyone should know, who's a very special person. And he once told me that he just doesn't engage in debate on Facebook. And the moment he said that, I thought, wow, that is so intelligent. And I really took that on myself, and my life became a lot simpler. Because, most of the time when people are debating us, they're not really open to learning. They're just trying to prove their point. And Facebook trying to embarrass us in a public forum. And Rabbi Nachman in general says it's very good to be embarrassed publicly, but not to embarrass other people publicly. I think it's said in Hazal, in the Jewish tradition, to embarrass someone publicly is like spilling their blood, something like that. But for us to take embarrassment, that is very wonderful. So you can all practice. You can practice on me. People seem to like to pick on me often, and it's okay. It's good practice for me. Good fun. And we notice when people are insulting us that almost all the time it's really they're just working something out for themselves, right? In psychology, it's called projection or transference. And so if we're able to let them work that out on us, can be really healing for them. And we don't have to point it out to them and say, this is your stuff, whatever. You just let it go. And you'll notice that people often have a big healing. And say someone's always verbally abusive to us, and they don't own that it's their stuff, and they just keep doing it, we can avoid them. We can avoid them, or if we want to make use of the opportunity to work on ourselves, we can invite it, right? Like sticks and stones. But we don't want to verbally abuse other people. We want to see people's good points, build people's good points. The Nikudot Tova, Rabbi Nachman calls it, and build on people's good points rather than looking at their bad points. Rabbi Nachman, he says, if you pick on people's bad points, it's like bringing out their bad smell from inside. So instead we try to look at people's good points and build on the good point. And that's similar in natural medicine, holistic healing, how you build the health without focusing on the disease. Western medicine often is disease-centered, try to cure the disease, kill the pathogen. And in holistic medicine, we work on building the health. And if we build the health enough, the disease can clear up by itself without focusing on it. Whatever we focus on, that gives it life. Someone once told me that there was some study in football. There was a football coach that told his players, don't drop the ball, and they fumbled a lot. And then the next year the coach said, hold the ball. He told the players, hold the ball. The same thing, but it was positive reinforcement, and they had a much greater success rate. So the person that told me that story, he told me his personal story. He's a guy I used to live with. His personal story was that he was very sick, like deathly ill, and he tried everything, specialists, of every kind. And he was getting very worried, like he wasn't getting better. And I think it was Rolling Thunder. There's a famous Native American kind of hippie healer. I think his name was Rolling Thunder. And this guy went to Rolling Thunder, and right away the Native American healer said, "Oh, I know what you have. You have systemic candida. Candida. You have systemic candida, and I can cure it. I can help you cure it. You'll get better." And that was it. They started working. He gave him the right herbs, the right encouragement, and this guy got better. My friend who I live with got better. And he said to Rolling Thunder, he said, like, you saved my life. Like, how much money do I owe you? Or, whatever. After the first session, he's, you could tell he's getting some benefit. He said, how much money do I owe you? And the native guy said, so when you leave here, there's a coffee can in the kitchen, and you'll see there's some money in it. And if you need some money, you can take some. If you want to leave some money, you can leave some. It's kind of like that, right? And the guy's mind was blown, especially after having gone to all these specialists that were charging him big money. So then he got better, and he did some research about the Native American healing tradition of this tribe. So he found out what he had to do, and he approached the native healer with a medicine bundle with tobacco in it. And he went up to him, and he put the tobacco at his feet, and he said, "I want you to teach me how to heal people." That was the tradition of their tribe. So then the native guy, Rolling Thunder, I think it was, he said, "Sure, I'll teach you everything I know on one condition." And you can guess what it was. He said, for the rest of your life, you have to only heal by donation, like no set price, right? And this guy that I live with, he said, so he'd done that. He did healing on people the rest of his life, and he said he never had a set price. It was all by donation. And he said, I've had 500 people give me $3, and 3 people give me $500. So he said it all worked out, right? And that reminded me of another healing story, which I'm spacing out now. Oh, it's such a good one. Okay, we'll save it for another time. Anyhow, to receive insult without fighting back. This is a great relief. We don't have to convince everyone of our point of view. We don't have to tell people our feelings. Big thing in psychology. I want you to hear my... You can hear me making fun of it. My dad's a famous psychologist. I love him. Big thing in modern psychology, when someone insults you, you try to stop them, and you try to get them to hear your feelings. So, maybe not. It says we don't have to do that. We just receive the insult. Now, I think this can only be done voluntarily and happily, right? What's the difference between being abused and taking this on? Is we could take it on voluntarily. When something's forced on us and we don't have a choice, then that takes the fun out of it. So these teachings, you can try them at home. You can try them at home and try them voluntarily. Before I forget, in the last video about sexuality, I said that Tamar wanted to stay thin, and therefore Onan and the other brothers spilled seed, and it was her fault. But a few people contacted me and said that that's not true. One person said that's only a minor opinion. The major opinion holds that it was the men's fault. So I apologize about that. I didn't mean to insult Tamar, who gave birth to the soul of Mashiach. It's in that lineage. Sorry, my Tanakh's a little weak. I should know that. So if anyone practices this, taking insult without fighting back, I'd love to hear about it. And you can test my patience by insulting me. Rabbi Nachman says we're supposed to request that people don't use profanity. So if you test me or request, you don't use profanity and lewdness and this kind of thing. to ask people that in the modern age is seen as outrageous or something, as most of this Breslov is. And whatever. Okay, so I had some great responses from the last video. A few people contacted me privately, and we got into some great exchanges. So everyone's welcome to contact me privately, and maybe I'll work on ourselves and our patience and our tolerance, and be able to heal ourselves and the people around us through patience. All right, God bless. Good kosher Pesach, and be well.